Hey, what's going on, y'all? In this video, I'm going to share with you a few tips and techniques that I've learned on the water over the years to help you guys catch more fish on top water with your prop style baits like the Berkley Choppo and that River2Sea Whopper Plopper. Let's get into it.
On the turn? Yep, on the turn. Smallie.
When it comes to retrieving our ploppers, most of the time we're using two different methods. We're either retrieving at various speeds or we're popping them across the water. With both techniques, what we're ultimately doing is we're retrieving them in a straight line. Now, something I've learned over the years is that sometimes we need to venture away from straight lines so we can provoke a fish to bite. One of the techniques I've stumbled upon is slightly turning or redirecting that plopper. Now, with that said, next time when you're retrieving your plopper, try to get your lure to change directions, even if it's the smallest amount. The way I do this is by rod tip control. I will change my rod position from right to left side retrieve or vice versa. Now, it doesn't need to be drastic like a spook, but if you can get the fish to go from seeing the back of the plopper to the side profile of the entire bait, then you're going to be able to elicit more strikes. In my experience, it doesn't take much of a turn to provoke a fish. It can be subtle. Ultimately, what I found is that redirection will allow you to catch more fish and more non-committal fish.
Get him, buddy. I'm really hoping I get a fish here because I gotta have a lot of these little spots up here. And I would love, oh, on the paws. I think that was a good smallie too.
Another retrieve technique you can use is a straight retrieve with a sudden pause. Like the turn method, the burn and pause can elicit instant strikes. What I found to be most helpful is retrieving the plopper at least 1/3 of the retrieve and then slamming on those brakes and stop reeling. The bait will scoot across the water because of momentum, but it gives you a change in pace and look for that following fish to react and make a decision.
Oh, that was a sick hit.
On most of my straight retrieves, I'll either get bit instantly with a reaction strike or I'll get bit in the first third portion of the retrieve. In general, I typically don't get bit right next to the boat. However, I do see lazy and late fish trailing my lure often, so that pause can help give those fish a chance and allow them to catch up and make a decision on that bait. Play around with this technique and see how your fish respond.
There is a good one on the paws.
When casting the plopper, one of the most crucial steps for me is getting my topwater lure up and running as soon as it touches the water. If you can get your lure up and running immediately, you're going to put yourself in a great position for those insane reaction strikes. Now, with that said, a casting reel with a fast gear ratio will assist you in picking up that slack line so you can get your plopper up and running quickly. Now, I will say there is a con to this technique, and it can cause your plopper treble hooks to grab up a bunch of weeds when it's coming to the surface. Now, if you fish a real weedy area and you're not concerned about reaction strikes, but you're more concerned about covering a bunch of water, wait for your plopper to fully ascend to the top of the water before you begin retrieving. That should prevent you from grabbing a bunch of extra weeds as the lure's coming up to the water. All right, the last tip I have for you is keeping your fish interested or on the chase. The plopper is a topwater moving target, which means fish do not always hit the bullseye. Sometimes fish will hit it and not get any hooks. Other times, fish just miss it altogether. When this happens, it is very easy to stop retrieving because you instantly become a spectator of the blowup, and I'm 100% guilty of this too. Now, with that said, what I have found is that when a plopper is hit, you immediately need to continue retrieving your lure because it's going to produce more follow-up strikes from that same fish as opposed to just letting your lure sit there or retrieving it at a later time. The goal for me here is keep your plopper moving because it's a much more realistic sequence to that fish, and the sound allows the fish to keep tracking it after it just missed it. All right, y'all, that is all for this one. Please leave a comment in the comment section below to tell me what you think. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more content like this in the future. And as always, keep on slinging.